Welcome back to the Victor Gonzalez Show, and today we're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Jacksonville Jaguars defense, it wasn't one that you really trusted last year. It was 28th in points per game and the worst in the league, 32nd at takeaways. So, Doug Peterson, bringing in all of his guys, brought in a person who was a part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the linebacker coach, Mike Caldwell. Tampa Bay was number one in takeaways last year. So what is he expecting from this defense? Obviously, you're expecting for it to get more takeaways than it did last year. Tampa Bay Buccaneers averaged 1.9 per game, and the Jacksonville Jaguars averaged 0.5 per game. Which, when you see that discrepancy of 1.4 per game, you're expecting the Jaguars one to go up, and hopefully that'll allow their points per game to go down as well as it translates. Now, as him being the linebacker coach, he's going from Devin White and Levante David to now Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, and Foye Oluokun. Three linebackers who he can rotate through and have these guys with fresh legs at all time and allow them to play their best football. Now, one of the things that I've noticed from Mike Caldwell is how important it is to put his best players in his best situations, which is why I think it's going to be very curious to see what he does with this defensive line. He has Trayvon Walker, the former number one overall pick, Josh Allen, first round pick, Kayvon Chasen, a high first round pick, and then he's also got Arden Key. So he's got these four guys who have shown potential throughout their NFL careers, Arden Key being recently with the San Francisco 49ers, showing his, and now he's bringing in these guys who he can develop and put in different spots. I think Josh Allen's one of those underrated guys that no one really talks about until it was the Josh Allen versus Josh Allen game last year. And even before that, I said the Chiefs should try and go get him because of how well he's played in his NFL career. So, looking at that, what does he have at the cornerback position? He's got Shaquille Griffin. He's got Darius Williams. Darius Williams, coming from Los Angeles and being a former Ram, coming off a Super Bowl, is now coming in, bringing in that Super Bowl culture, or at least attempting to bring it to Jacksonville. Now you're looking at your safeties. You got Andrew Wingard and Andre Cisco. Those are your two safeties who they're going to try to develop as their young guys. And then you've got Tyson Campbell trying to be that nickel corner, or coming in on those three cornerback sets. Now you're looking at Devon Hamilton as your nose tackle along with those four other guys, and that's the way Mike Caldwell will most likely run his 3-4 defense. I think that Mike Caldwell making sure that all of his players being put in the right situation are one of those that is something that can really help a defense out. You have guys in the past who we've seen who really just don't fit the system that they're brought into, and it really stumps their career. You have guys like Chase Winovich who weren't that great in New England because he didn't fit the run-stopping culture that Bill Belichick's built. And it's one of those things where he can still be successful, but he won't be to the highest of his ability. Now with Mike Caldwell, he's really focused on throughout minicamp and heading into training camp how he's going to focus on these guys being at the peak of their powers, being at the best of their ability, and being put in situations for them to succeed. It's one of those things that you do see with Bill Belichick, even though it may not fit with all of his players, because he gets players who fit his system. You get Brian Flores the same way. They get guys who fit their system and put them in positions that they need to succeed. When you have players put in the best situation for them to succeed, it really creates a defense that can be one of the top ones in the NFL, which is why we've seen teams like New England and even Miami, who was pretty decent last year under Brian Flores, or another guy like Mike Tomlin, who you always see Pittsburgh being one of those top defenses because he does put his players in the best situation for them to succeed. And he makes sure that even if it's not the big move, it's one that will fit his defense and fit the style in which he needs to grow, which is why I really like the way Mike Caldwell has spoken throughout minicamp and training camp, which hopefully for him and Jacksonville, it'll translate onto the field exactly the way he said.